The 10-year echo. It all began with a sound, a single name, barely a breath, whispered after 10 years of absolute silence. Then came the unbelievable. The man everyone had mourned finally walked back into the light. But his return was no miracle. It was a time bomb, because the memories he carried weren't a homecoming. They were the match that ignited a cold case and tore a decade of lies apart. This was a story that stretched far beyond one victim. The trails snaked across 2 state lines, into hidden rooms, and through cryptic notes that pointed not to a killer, but to a terrifying, sprawling network. The solution wasn't found in a grand discovery, but in the smallest, most human of details. A single faded photograph, a crumpled grocery receipt from a forgotten store, and one rusted key that held the final, terrible secret. Stick with us until the very last moment, because when the final confession drops, you won't just hear the names and the places. You will feel the weight of the truth that finally surfaced and hear the story that gave a ghost his peace. 10 missing years returned with screams that never faded. These are the words that begin a nightmare that refused to stay buried. A true crime story where the return of the missing was far more terrifying than the disappearance. Welcome to the heart of the unsolved crime case. This long, chilling investigation follows 2 vanishings that ended not in joyous reunion, but in a chilling new wave of fear, confusion, and a cascade of unanswered questions. The events that unfolded reshaped families, haunted quiet towns, and pushed law enforcement to search for logic inside an unimaginable chaos. Our story focuses on 2 individuals, one lost to the deep woods of rural Washington state, and another taken from a mining town in New Mexico. Both were swallowed by the earth for years. Both reappeared physically broken. And both left behind a trail of disturbing clues that would change 2 communities forever. Before we begin this cold, slow burn of tension, prepare to walk a path defined by pain, by the fierce instinct for survival, and by secrets that fought desperately to remain in the dark. Name, Daniel Cross. Age at disappearance, 27. Location, Clearwater Ridge, Washington. Vanished March 14, 2009. Found August 22, 2019. Clearwater Ridge is a town that feels ancient, pressed against a base of dense forests and unforgiving mountain shadows. It's a place of quiet routines where hunting, fishing, and lumber work still anchor the economy. With only 2 traffic lights, a stranger here stands out like a solitary flame in the darkness. Daniel was one of the town's constants, a steady worker at Hillside Lumber Mill, known for his predictable habits. He shared a small 2-bedroom cabin on Hawthorne Road with his younger sister, Karen Cross. Their only sentinel on winter nights was a porch lamp that always seemed to flicker. On the morning of March 14th, Karen stood by the door and watched Daniel walk toward his truck, heading for the mill. That small, ordinary moment was the last confirmed sighting of the man she knew before her world simply collapsed. Daniel never clocked in. His truck never made the highway turnoff. Deputy Royce Harlan of the Clearwater County Sheriff's Office led the initial search. They found the truck parked inconspicuously on a dirt service road behind Red Pine Trail. The keys were resting on the floor. The driver's door stood open. No struggle, no blood, no sign of violence, just a sudden, profound silence. Deputy Harlan noted one strange, haunting detail. A set of deep boot prints, Daniel's they assumed, heading toward the tree line. Alongside them were lighter, smaller prints, bare feet. The bare prints trailed Daniel's for nearly 60 meters before both tracks inexplicably ceased behind a fallen log. There were no drag marks, no sign of a fight in the soil, and no animal tracks, just nothing. This detail morphed into a chilling rumor in Clearwater Ridge. Some residents claimed the bare footprints belonged to a child. Others thought they were too narrow, too long. The search was relentless. Helicopters scanned rooftops, trained dogs swept ravines, but the spring rain eventually washed away every physical clue, leaving only the mystery. Weeks bled into months, and months into years. Daniel became a ghost story, whispered in hushed voices over beers at the Crescent Bar, the mill workers' nightly gathering spot. Karen Cross, however, refused to let him become a ghost. She printed hand-drawn flyers, plastering them onto every gas station board from Spokane to Yakima. She called every missing persons group she could find, draining her savings on desperate private search teams. For 10 years, there was only silence. On August 22, 2019, two hikers, Trevor Lane and Abigail Morris, were traveling through Willow Spine Preserve, nearly 40 kilometers from where Daniel vanished. Near the narrow entrance of a small cave, Abigail spotted a figure. It was a man, impossibly thin, with sunken eyes, matted hair, and a torn flannel shirt that barely clung to his shoulders. Trevor called out. The man did not respond. He simply stared forward without a blink, locked in a vacant trance. When park rangers finally arrived, the man whispered one single sentence. Cross, Daniel, Hawthorne Road. Daniel returned to the world, but he was not the man who had walked toward his truck 10 years earlier. Medical staff at Ridgeview Hospital recorded severe dehydration, multiple fractures that had healed crookedly without medical care, and strange horizontal scar lines across both arms. These bruises formed an unsettling, even pattern, the purpose of which no one could discern. Daniel clung only to Karen, flinching away from all others. He spoke in broken bursts, not full sentences, offering only fragments of memory. He described a narrow room, a concrete floor, a heavy metal door with no handle on the inside, a low, slow, steady male voice on the other side, always the same, but a face he never saw. These fragments produced one of the most unsettling theories ever discussed by the Clearwater Ridge investigators, forcing the case into its next horrifying phase. Detective Laura Sarin from the Washington State Patrol was assigned to the case after Daniel's return. She immediately zeroed in on the old bare footprints behind the truck. Sarin ordered a new analysis, focusing on pressure points and gait patterns. The results forced her back to the original forest spot. The pattern suggested the barefoot person moved with stiff ankles and uneven weight distribution, a gait often seen in people who have been confined for long periods without shoes or normal movement. This pointed to one terrifying possibility. Another captive had escaped from something, somewhere, right before Daniel vanished. A person without shoes, possibly weak, possibly fleeing, and Daniel may have followed them. The idea struck Karen hardest. Her voice choked with desperation as she asked Sarin again and again, "Did Daniel follow someone out there? Someone who needed help?" Sarin could only offer silence. More strange details appeared near the cave. Rangers found high-strength synthetic rope fibers stuck between two stones, material used in old logging sites, but out of place in the preserve. Daniel held the answers, but his mind remained fractured. He mentioned a constant low humming sound behind the walls, a light that never shuts off, a plate slid under a metal frame, footsteps that paused for impossibly long moments outside his door. But one phrase chilled every investigator to the bone. The other person stopped answering. He repeated it multiple times. When asked who the person was, Daniel would only fall silent, gripping Karen's arm until his knuckles turned white. During a controlled session with Detective Saren, Daniel revealed that he had heard a voice in an adjacent room, a young voice, characterized by strained breathing and occasional whispers through a small opening near the floor. He believed that person had been alive during the early years of his captivity. Then the voice faded, then silence. That detail raised a terrifying specter. Another victim might still be out there or resting undiscovered somewhere in the vast forest. Daniel offered one crucial piece of information. The man liked the sound of storms. He always started talking when thunder came. This single line changed the entire strategy. Saren cross-referenced storm records with reports of unusual activity near service roads and forest entry points over a 12-year period. Consistent sightings appeared near Red Pine Trail during heavy storms, reports of a tall male figure walking the tree lines with no confirmed identity. 7 weeks after Daniel's return, Saren found a link in an old property database, a small, forgotten plot of land 2 kilometers from where Daniel's trick was found, owned by a man named Graham Wilder, age 59. Wilder was a former employee of Clearwater Freight Depot who had vanished from town records after a workplace dispute. He was quiet, polite, and completely forgettable. When Saren whispered Wilder's name to Daniel, his entire body flinched. He stiffened and whispered, "He walked heavy, always heavy. That name sounds close." This reaction prompted a full search of Wilder's abandoned property. Inside a shipping crate, they found an old moldy mattress and a metal food tray. A heavy chain bolt fixture was attached to one corner, suggesting long-term use. Investigators concluded that Daniel had likely lived inside that crate for an extended period. The cabin held the darkest secret, a set of water-damaged notebooks. Inside, investigators found lists of dates, observations of storms, and chilling notes about the behavior patterns of unnamed people. Subject B becoming quiet again, food untouched, a storm is coming tonight. Subject A shows stubborn resistance, the door requires reinforcement, movement stronger this month. Daniel was subject A. The other captive, the one who stopped answering, was subject B. During a nightmare, Daniel finally shouted a name, Lena. Saren immediately searched missing persons databases for a woman named Lena, who disappeared before Daniel. One name appeared, Lena Arroyo, age 19, from Three Rivers, New Mexico, reported missing in September 2004. This discovery created a link across 2 states. Lena had vanished 5 years before Daniel. Investigators now faced a horrifying truth. The captor was not a one-time abductor, but a suspected serial offender who had held one person for 5 years before taking Daniel. The notebooks and the evidence pointed toward a pattern, but the greatest breakthrough came with the discovery of the North Chamber, a separate structure mentioned in faint impressions beneath the pages of Wilder's notebooks. The search team found a buried hatch near a cluster of cedar trees. Inside was a narrow, cold staircase leading into darkness. The chamber was empty of life, but held a set of restraints bolted to concrete anchors. On the walls, deep scrape marks and faint carvings appeared. L.A., repeated multiple times. Help. The handwriting on the notes found there, however, did not match Wilder's. It matched forestry documents belonging to Marjorie Hale, a retired forestry assistant and a former co-worker of Wilder's at the freight depot. Daniel's memory of the argument gained chilling new context. He had heard a woman's calm, firm voice challenge Wilder, "You promised, and this went too far." Daniel felt certain this woman held authority over Wilder and was an active participant in his captivity. Hale, with her forestry background, knew every remote structure, every old trail, and every ranger patrol route. The evidence suggested a 2-person operation, a captivity network. Confronted by Saren, Hale quickly fled her Idaho home. Fear spiked. The net was closing. The final chase led the authorities to the mountains of Idaho and Montana. Hale was spotted first, moving alone, suggesting a separation from her partner. Then, 2 nights later, a wildlife camera in Montana captured Graham Wilder, Tall, limping heavily, Daniel had heard him fall inside the cabin, and carrying a canvas bag. Both suspects were on the run, scattered by the pressure of Daniel's return. The authorities caught Hale first near a shallow creek in a narrow valley. She surrendered, her clothes torn and her eyes hollow. She broke, pointing south toward an old creek bed. Near the old creek bed, under the stones, beneath a cluster of unnaturally arranged rocks, search teams found a shallow grave. Clothing scraps, a bracelet, and bone fragments were recovered. Dental records confirmed what they already knew. Lena Arroyo had finally returned home. 15 years of silence had ended. Karen received the news quietly, whispering a short prayer for Lena. 2 days later, Wilder was found by Saru's team, sitting on a fallen log on a remote ridge. Gaunt and shaking, he looked up at the detective, defeated. No more rooms, no more storms. He collapsed before Sarin could reach him. He died during transport from severe dehydration and organ failure. His canvas bag contained a final note in his own hand. I lost the path. She left. The rooms are gone. The voices stopped. Wilder and Hale operated together for years. Hale, the logistics expert, Wilder, the captor. Hale was later convicted on all major counts of aiding captivity and conspiracy. She refused to explain why she joined him, repeating only, "I thought I controlled him. I lost control years earlier." She refused to discuss the unknown older woman Daniel heard, a third potential victim whose story remains a painful, unsolved mystery. Daniel Cross returned to Hawthorne Road. He showed no joy when told of Wilder's death, only a quiet, profound exhaustion. When Karen pressed him, he whispered, "The rooms are gone. I can sleep again." For the first time in 10 years, he slept through an entire night. Clearwater Ridge changed forever. Residents placed candles outside the town hall for Lena and the unidentified woman. The town came together to repair Karen and Daniel's cabin, fixing the porch, the windows, and the old lights to make the home feel safe again. At the Crescent Bar, the mill workers now spoke in respectful tones, understanding the impossible weight Daniel carried. Daniel now spends hours walking slow paths behind the cabin, staying near open sky. He rebuilt his strength and memory piece by piece, confirming small details each morning. When Seren visited him one last time, sitting on the porch overlooking the now quiet tree line, she asked if he wanted to move away. He shook his head. "This is my home. My sister stays here. I'm staying here." She asked how he felt, knowing his captors were gone. He answered quietly, "I feel space in my chest again." 2 lives crossed paths inside that isolated terror. One life survived to speak again. One life waited 15 years for a silent return. The shadows have lifted. The hidden rooms are abandoned. And the forests are quiet once more. The search is over, but the echo of what happened in those quiet woods remains. We thank you for bearing witness to their story. Daniel's journey of survival reminds us of the terrible resilience of the human spirit. If the weight of this investigation has stirred up difficult feelings for you, or if you or a loved one is struggling, please do not face that darkness alone. Reach out to a friend, a counselor, or the dedicated mental health support services in your local community. Help is there. Their story is a powerful reminder of what can lie hidden in the places we take for granted. We urge you to share this investigation, not for spectacle, but to keep the vigilance strong and to honor the memories of Lena Arroyo and the unknown woman who suffered in silence. We strive to tell these difficult stories with the utmost care and responsibility. Above all, please remember the people at the heart of this case: Daniel, Karen, Lena, and her family. Honor their pain and their continued need for privacy and respect. If you wish to follow more of our work that seeks to uncover the truth and find justice, please consider subscribing. The full narrative of this case has been presented based on documented evidence and public records. We ask that any discussion or use of this content maintain the dignity and privacy of the survivors and the families who endured this nightmare.